At the start of this year, I completely changed my life by transforming my physique from this 92.3 kilo mess to this 76.6 kilo shredded hunk for a photo shoot. I went on an aggressive cut, I lost 15.7 kilos and I documented the entire process from day one on my Instagram and TikTok. So in today's video, I'm just going to be showing you exactly how to set up your own fat loss phase and exactly what I did, because I want you to feel the happiness, the joy, the satisfaction that comes from getting shredded, or not even just getting shredded, but losing some body fat. So let's just get into it. Step one simply involves finding out where you're currently at so you know how to actually program your fat loss phase or your workouts, and you know if you're progressing from week to week. So you're going to have to weigh yourself. I did actually just order this scale online to my apartment here in Bali because I am on a fat loss phase again myself. Not as aggressive as I did beforehand, but just a little short one. So there are actually a few important notes about the weigh-in. You want to make sure that they are as consistent as possible in your natural state. So what this means is that you want to get up first thing in the morning, and before you eat or drink and after the toilet if possible, step on that scale. And I'm sure most of you do not sleep in a jumper, shorts and socks. So do it in your natural state, naked if possible. I just stood on the scale and it told me that I am 83.2 kilos, but I actually weighed myself this morning, straight out of bed, no clothes on, no food or water in me, and I was 81.0 kilos. The reason that it went up 2 kilos is because I have a lot more food in me, I have more water weight, I have more gut content, and obviously I have my clothes on. You need to make sure that your weigh-ins are consistent going forward. Do not weigh in one morning and then the next evening, because they're not consistent then. Now, body weight is of course only one of the metrics we use to track your progress. We also need to see the visual progress. So at the very start, and then every single week from then on, you want to find a plain background and just take some pictures. Sometimes the scale lies and you can be holding on to some extra water weight and you might be up in weight from one week to the next week, but you may be able to actually see it in the visual progress, in the photos. So I want you to set your phone up, take a video, and just do a little 360 so you have the full picture of where you're currently at. Get a front-facing photo, a side-facing photo, and a back-facing photo. Step two is actually setting up the plan. So you know where you're at currently, but what are you actually going to do day to day to get to where you want to be? First thing I want you to do is to go online and find a TDEE calculator. What this stands for is total daily energy expenditure. What you're going to do is simply put in your gender, put in your age, your weight, your height, and your activity level. And what that's going to do for you is calculate a maintenance calorie number. Now, what the hell does maintenance calories mean? Maintenance calories is simply the amount of calories you need to eat to maintain where you're currently at, to maintain your current body weight. This is an estimate of how many calories your body burns on an average day. This is a super important number because once you have your maintenance calories, all you need to do is eat below this number in a calorie deficit every single day to lose weight. So how many calories below this maintenance calorie number should you eat? It is estimated that around 3,500 calories burned equals 1 pound of fat loss. So if your goal is to lose around 1 pound of fat a week, what you want to do is be in a 500 calorie deficit every single day, which averages out at 3,500 calories deficit for the week. Obviously, you can bring this deficit up a little bit if you want to speed up the process. Just know it'll be a little bit harder and a little bit less sustainable. For me personally, I was in a deficit of around 1,000 to 1,200 per day, which averaged out at around 1.2 kilos lost per week. The reason I was able to do it so quickly or do it so aggressively is because I am a full-time fitness coach. I have the time, I have the knowledge, I know how my body works, I know what to adjust if my energy levels were too low. It was safe for me. But most of you, if you're working a full-time job or you don't have time to walk 15, 17,000 steps a day, which I'll get onto, like me, then go for something a little bit more sustainable, like 500 to 800 calories a day below this maintenance number. This brings us on nicely to step 3, nutrition. You know how many calories you're going to be eating per day now, but what should you actually fill your diet with? There are 3 main macronutrients that matter: your protein, your fats, and your carbs. Protein is actually the most important during a fat loss phase. That's why everybody always talks about protein this and protein that, because it is super, super important. Protein does 2 main things during a fat loss phase. One, and the most important, it actually ensures that you hold on to all of your muscle mass and the weight that you are dropping is just fat. Your goal should be to drop fat, not weight. The second thing that protein does is that it's just a little bit more satiating. So filling your diet with a lot of protein will actually keep you more full and keep your cravings at bay while you are on these low calorie numbers. A general rule of thumb for protein is around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or around 2 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Now on to fats. This is actually more important than carbs because a lot of people can function extremely well without carbs on just fats and protein, but nobody can function without fats. Fats are essential for your hormones and just normal bodily functions. Cutting out fat does not mean you will cut out fat on your body. A general rule for the amount of fats you should be having in your diet is around 0.8 to 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight. And then the remainder of your calories, once you have your protein and your fat sorted, is just carbs. You don't necessarily need a carb goal. As long as you're hitting the protein and fats, the carbs will just make up the rest of it. Some good protein sources are obviously protein powders. You do not need to supplement the protein powder, but it just makes things a little bit easier. You can put it in desserts, you can put it in porridge, and it's just so quick and handy. You also have lean meats, eggs, Greek yogurt, protein bars, protein milk, stuff like that. And then for your healthy fats, you're looking for things like peanut butter. I always put this in my porridge to get some fats in the morning. Olive oil, avocado, things like that. For carbs, you want to be aiming for good carbs for the most part. So rice, pasta, sweet potato, normal potato. Potato is actually the most satiating carb. It's a lot better than rice in my opinion. But look, you do not need to be perfect. If you want to have a pastry for your carbs, that is still fine. As long as you're sticking to your calorie number per day, on average throughout the week, that's completely fine to have a treat every now and then. I am going to be filming a full day of eating on my current cut tomorrow, so you'll have a better idea of how exactly I am structuring my diet and what meals I am having at the moment. Now on to step 4, which is your workouts, your cardio and your weightlifting sessions. The reason why your diet and nutrition is actually a step ahead of your workouts is just because it's way more important. Because you can have the best workout plan in the world. You can do 5 hours of cardio a day, but if you are eating 8,000 calories per day, you're still going to be putting on weight. Let's start with your weightlifting sessions. So your weightlifting sessions are extremely important, again, to ensure that you maintain your muscle. They are not so important for the actual fat loss process. You want to be weightlifting or doing resistance training around 2 or 3 times a week, again, just to ensure that you are holding onto all of that muscle and what you're losing is fat. If you're currently lifting, you're an advanced lifter, you're lifting 6 or 7 times a week, I would actually pull that back to 3 to 5 times a week. It's going to be hard for you to progress in the gym and keep all your strength if you are overtraining on these lower calorie numbers. My favorite split for clients on a fat loss phase is actually 3 days, and it's usually full body upper, full body, or full body upper lower. Now for your cardio, it's such a common misconception that a lot of cardio is essential for fat loss. Cardio is not needed whatsoever. Cardio is just a tool to increase your caloric burn to put you in a bigger deficit or put you in a deficit at all. Think about it like this. If your calorie maintenance is 2,800 per day without doing any cardio, and you simply eat 2,000 calories without doing any cardio, you're still in an 800 calorie deficit. If you were to maybe add in 30 minutes of cardio per day on the treadmill or on the bike or something like that, and you were to burn an extra 200 calories, then your daily maintenance would just go up to 3,000. Meaning if you were to eat 2,000 still, you would be in a 1,000 daily deficit, which would speed up the process. Or if you wanted to maintain the exact same progress with the 800 calorie deficit, what you can do is add in cardio to allow yourself to eat a little bit more food. So if you added in that 30 minutes of cardio a day and brought your calories up to 2,200, then you have a little bit more food in your diet and you're still making the same amount of progress. Now the main cardio that I'm going to be talking about today is daily steps. That is all I did to get shredded, and it is my favorite form of cardio. Now, if you have any more questions about cardio or different types of cardio, you can just drop it in the comments or you can message me on Instagram. What I want you to do is start tracking your daily steps. If you've got an iPhone, it'll be in the health app. If you wear a Garmin or an Apple Watch or something, it'll be on that anyways. When I was doing my fat loss phase, I personally did like 15 to 18,000 steps a day. Again, that probably won't be realistic for you, but for me, it just sped up the process a lot more. And you don't need to aim for a certain number. People will say, aim for 10,000 steps a day. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It all depends on where you are currently at. If you are currently doing 2,000 steps a day, all you need to do is aim for 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, whatever it is. Because to lose weight or to get into a better position than you are now physically, All you have to do is change what you're currently doing. So you don't need to go from 2,000 steps a day to an arbitrary number of 10,000 steps a day. Just go from 2,000 to 6,000. I like using daily steps as the main form of cardio for three main reasons. One, it is just the easiest thing to do. It is so easy mentally knowing you just have to go out for a walk. It is so easy to just get up out of bed, go for a 20-minute walk. It's easy to just go for a walk on your lunch break. You don't have to stress about it. If you were going for a run or going to do some intense form of cardio, you'd probably be stressing about it and you'd be less likely to actually go and do it. The second reason is just because it is so low intensity. You want to actually be looking for low intensity cardio forms during a cut, because if you were to go out and do something that is crazy intensity, like a proper high rocks workout or a HIIT workout or something, you're just going to be so fatigued on those lower calorie numbers, and you're also going to be so hungry. Something like daily steps, it's not going to fatigue you too much, it's not going to hurt your body, and it's not going to make you overly hungry. The third reason why I love using daily steps as the main form of cardio is because they are just so easy to adjust. And this moves us on to the fifth, the final, and honestly the most important step, which is just making adjustments. The first plan that you make for yourself is never going to be perfect. The main thing you need to think about doing is continuously making assessments if the progress isn't coming along how you want it to. This is why you need to be getting as much overall data as possible so you can make accurate adjustments if things aren't working. So say you are tracking your daily steps, you're tracking your calories, you're tracking your body weight, you're tracking the visual progress, and maybe you're aiming to lose 1 kilogram a week. Say after 2 weeks, because I don't really want to make adjustments every single week, I want to give it some time. Say after 2 weeks, you're only down 0.5 kilograms overall. But you know from your tracking that you've been eating 2,600 calories every single day and you've been doing 8,000 steps every single day. All you do is make a small adjustment. Since the body weight isn't coming down as quickly as you want it to, you are obviously not in a big enough deficit. So what do? You bring down the calories a little bit, or you bring up the steps a little bit. You say for this next week, okay, I don't really want to bring up my steps because I'm already quite busy with work. I'm going to bring down the calories to 2,400 per day. Then after another 2 weeks, you're actually losing around 0.7 kilograms per week. Much better, but not just at your goal yet. Then you say, 2,400 calories is a little bit low for me. I like my food, but I do want to speed up this process a little bit more. And I'm kind of struggling to get the 8,000 steps in a day because I don't have that much time at work. Then you can add in some cardio. Because what cardio does is it just burns those calories a little bit quicker. So then you say, okay, for this upcoming 2 weeks, I'm going to do 8,000 steps a day, 2,400 calories a day, and 1 hour of cardio a week. And then 2 weeks later, you get the average weight from your daily weigh-ins and you see, I'm actually down 1 kilogram a week. Then you have found the actual deficit you need to be in to be reaching your goal. One more thing to note is that as your body weight comes down, your calorie maintenance will come down with it. So sticking at those same numbers will result in a slower weight loss. So you need to continuously adjust throughout to continue hitting those goals. I hope this was extremely informative. Full day of eating on my own cut will be coming soon, and best of luck with your fat loss journey.